Hello once again, and welcome back to Right Man in the Wrong Place. My name is Luke Tatum. I react to music, and I am so glad that you are here. Today, we're going to be drawing from Ye Olde Wheel. There are currently 180 unpaid requests in the request form, which you can find in the description. I love y'all so much. I mean, I just appreciate you putting stuff in there, and it keeps getting bigger. I do one of these a week. So there's a 1 in 180 chance that your song will be drawn, and the odds keep getting worse. So if you want to beat the odds, head on over to Buy Me a Coffee. You can make a donation once, or you can become a member of the channel to get on the paid list, and that will definitely expedite and improve your chances. I'll get to that Monday or Wednesday as soon as I can. But yes, the list is getting longer and longer and longer, and it's so fun. So let's spin the wheel and see what we get today. Hey, it's Mili. We haven't done Mili in a while. Okay, let me get set up. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. We are going to do Through Patches of Violet by Mili. This is the fourth oldest request in the form. This is back from last year, from October. And so this is a request from Water. Water, if you are still checking out the channel, I super appreciate you. I appreciate your patience. I'm glad that this finally came up. Yeah, mid-October. So it's been, 6 months or so. And so this is from Limbus Company, the game. This will be definitely not the first Limbus Company song I've heard. So far, they've all been extremely good. Mili is extremely good, and I just love it. So I'm confident this will be another incredible song. Let's listen.
How much I wish for another better, happier, brighter future. Here I am at the gate I stand. Dear old times, I've made up my mind. How much you must have suffered.
Okay. I forgot to say this. The note from Water on the request form is the vocalist of the song sings in 2 different pitches. This makes sense within the context of the game. So it doesn't tell me what that means. It just tells me that it makes sense. Now, Mili, I always forget the name of the vocalist. Cassie Way. So Cassie is doing an incredible job of kind of creating this multi-layered texture here. The art is, as usual, always really, really good. I can't say too much lyrically just yet. We have these kind of creeping, we have this vortex, this black hole, this kind of creeping tendrils drawing this figure into this black hole or whatever it is. And we have someone standing at the gate, right? A better, happier future. We have someone who is longing, standing at the gate. I've made up my mind. But then it doesn't say what she has made up her mind to do. How much you must have suffered through my anger. How much you must have overlooked your wonder.
I've made up my mind.
And so that's the end of the low vocals. Or now they're both here. Okay. So it's more of a duet. So I'm going to go back a little bit. So bright, higher voice, soprano, says, how much you must have suffered through my anger. The lower voice says, how much you must have overlooked your wonder. It's going to take me a minute. Stuff like this is always really hard. One of my favorite bands, my favorite band actually, the Proto Men, they've made excellent use of this duet type thing a few times. Go listen to the Proto Men. It's always good advice.
Must have suffered like figure one day. Forward, sincere manners. We all have the fated land where you want me. Round and round we go, holding on to pain, driven by our ego, feelings untold, spinning our own visions of the past.
Okay. So it's very difficult for me to parse and to sort of get in here. I know a lot of my Mili reactions have been monologues, diatribes. I've had a lot to say, I guess is one way to say it. And here I am struggling. We've got this sort of violin, action going on. We've got the strings. It's very tense. There's a lot of tension in this song. Obviously, we have tension between two characters or two sides of the same character. I'm not sure what it is. I know not to rely on the photo too much, the graphic, but, we have this idea of something coming to an end, this turmoil coming to an end. Does that mean the unification of two disparate halves? Does that mean, the ending of a life? I don't know, but I do know, and the reason I pause here, spinning our own versions of the past, right? Which makes me think that these two characters, whether they be the same or separate, or in what way they are the same or separate, they are each spinning their own versions of the past. What does that mean? Well, it means that, my shadow, the things that I don't like about me, and I try to suppress and hide about myself, I see in others. I blame on others. It frustrates me that someone else would not chase their dreams because I'm mad at myself for not chasing my dreams, right? How dare you sit and rot away in your office job or, whatever. I'm just making up a situation. And then the other side, the other person, shoe on the other foot. They have their own pet issues, their own hidden aspects of their personality that they refuse to acknowledge, and they critique the other person. Oh, it's all their fault that this is happening. And if it is indeed one character, and this is two sides of the same one character, the goal is to unify. If it's two separate characters, I don't know if the goal is to unify, right? But for some reason, these individuals are fatally bound, and they're both finding their own justifications, their own ex post, after the fact, ways of spinning, right? What do you do with the truth? You spin it to fit your own narrative, spinning our own versions of the past, right? It's my own made-up one that justifies my actions, driven by our egos. And it's about to become a dubstep track. Yeah.
You have given up your smiles, and the hope inside your eyes have been stolen. I must be the reason why. You must tell me all these lies, wishing you a better life without me by your side. The message has all.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, and so these maybe it's two separate characters. Again, I don't know, right? But let's go with the assumption that it's two different characters for now. Perhaps they're twins, I don't know. But these two fatally bound characters, they are, I have to back it up again. I must be the reason why you must tell me all these lies, right? I'm emphasizing, I'm creating an artificial emphasis on the words, the pronouns, right? I, me, you. And the reason that the trouble exists, the reason that the situation that they are in obtains, is because both of them are neglecting to care for themselves, right? This is a I'm the problem. I am beating myself up. I'm terrible. You know, it's that same shadow persona thing that we were just talking about, but you can do the same thing. You don't have to show only positive things to others. What you do with your persona, the opposite in some sense of your shadow, is that you show what you think that you need to show to get what you're trying to get. Right? What do you think is going to get you what you want? What do you think other people want to see, perhaps? And so this is the, perhaps narcissistic system of I'm hurt because I know that if I'm hurt, that will make the other person feel bad about what they've done, and then they'll give in to my demands and give me what I want, right? That's manipulative, to say the very least. And if you have two characters that are doing this towards each other, right? They're both just trying to prey on each other's emotions, psychic vampire style. It's difficult, right? Oh, well, I feel even worse than you. Well, I feel even worse than you, that kind of a thing. You could see how that is a downward spiral. You can see how that draws the individual into this black hole, this abyss, this oblivion, this void. And it's being chased by these eyes, these little fish eyes. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's a deconstruction of everything. The eyes seem to me to be like Psyche. This is really good. As usual, as expected, right? Really, really good.
These lies, wishing you a better life without me by your side. The message has already been said through pages of violet. How much we must have diverged. Hello, good night, goodbye, good night. I'm here, goodbye, waiting. Here we are. It's a final chance. With your hand, do what must be done.
Okay. We'll get to this delete bit in a moment. What is through patches of violet? Violet is a color that, in some sense, does not exist, right? There's no such thing as purple. There's red and there's blue. And our brain sort of fills in this patch of violet. It sort of creates this artificiality that is needed to resolve the blending of red and blue. And perhaps that's what's being referenced here, perhaps not. But in either case, it is a blending of red and blue. Even if you're just talking color theory or whatever. So that's obviously being used heavily in the image, but why? Why would you say that instead of patches of blue? Right? What's the significance of that? It's not a primary color, it's a secondary color. It's a mix of other colors. And so it's this blending this I'm going to use the words black and white, right? Gray is used to represent the moral complexity of real life. Everything is not a clearly good or clearly evil decision. You have this blending. You have this, more people are helped if I do this. Fewer people are helped if I do this. Perhaps the lighter shade of gray is the correct choice. That's, moral grayness has, in some sense, infected a lot of Western media. It's like you tend to come up with these deconstructive, boring narratives that are written by Western, TV producers and whatnot. The Witcher 3 has got some moral grayness if we're talking about a video game, but it's really good. It's really, really good and well written because there is an underlying sense of what is good and evil. It's just trying to walk that line it creates this extremely interesting narrative. But to say that everything is not good or evil, good and evil do not exist, and that it's all grayness, is to reduce away the idea of good and evil and to say that there is no moral compass that you can use to guide yourself. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about right and wrong. You don't have to have a religious text to give you that. And so purple or violet in this song, to me, seems to be hinting at this, seems to be hinting at the idea. The message has already been said through patches of violet. And so if we're talking about termination, self-termination, which may be what we're getting to with this delete line, it's like, well, we're not saying, the word that you can't say on YouTube. We're just saying delete. I know that the song is not censored for YouTube's sake, but you know what I'm saying? It's what's the word? It's softening. It's a softening and a blending of these things into something that is less clear. Maybe that's where I'm at for now. We'll see. Y'all tell me what you think. And, again, opposite ideas. Goodbye, I'm here. Hello, goodbye. Do what must be done. Musically, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. I focus almost exclusively on the lyrics, but gosh, there's always just so much in these songs. I one of the reasons I haven't done more Mili reactions, and one of the reasons I started to do the random drawings and stuff, is because I don't always have time. These tend to be 20, 30 or more minutes. So this spinning our own versions of the past that you could never know. Well, why? Because we're talking about feelings untold. We're talking about not sharing. We're talking about burying and letting the crushing weight of our own unspoken feelings, create this self-destructive delete scenario. I just noticed a moment ago that the figure that is being kind of absorbed into the black hole is growing kind of stars or whatever out of his or her spine. And it seems all very interesting, right? This becoming cosmic, sucking into this void. It's like the hair and stuff up at the top of the image is very sweeping and smooth and, rounded and curved. And then as he or she approaches this point, he or she becomes very, angular, and perhaps not. Perhaps that's not what that means, but it's very, very interesting. Okay. I could be the reason why. So you could never know. How would I know?
I could be the reason why you were able to be kind, and the hearts we held so tight will stay broken. Love must be the reason why I still believe in this lie, that you're living better lives without me by your side. The message has already been said. The patches of violet.
So to me, I believe it is two individuals. This is my guess. I believe it is two individuals that both believe that they are, better off removing themselves from the relationship, from the situation, so that the other can be happy. And because they are not communicating, both of them are going to do something terrible and for the sake of the other without talking about it. And so that's horrible. It's a horrible, sad situation. Again, though, the artistry to bring that kind of complex thing to life in a 3-minute, 52-second song in such an artful way. Like, it's so magnificently good. I love it. I love it. This is not one that I necessarily will listen to like in the car a lot. This has got a lot more just emotional depth. That Tian Chen song from Limbus Company, I listen to that in the car a lot. That is an incredible song. This one is also an incredible song. It's not quite as listenable, right? It's more of the evolutionary sort of thing. And gosh, it's just great. It's just great. What else to say on this? Yeah, the Patches of Violet thing. Y'all tell me if I'm missing the mark on that. I don't quite know what to do with that. I think I am very much in unknown territory here. But the idea of the individuals and all that, I think I'm at least sort of in the right neighborhood, or hopefully I am. As always, I appreciate y'all watching. This has been a really fun one. Water, thanks for the request. If you want to make a paid request, you, the viewer, person on YouTube, you can do that over at Buy Me a Coffee, and I will get to those Monday and Wednesday each week. If you have a desire to become a member of the channel, you can also do paid requests that way. But if you want to just throw unpaid requests, keep it up. Keep them coming. Let's get this thing over 200 and then 250 and so forth and so on. I'll have a huge, wide range of stuff popping up every Friday. So thanks for being here as always. Until next time, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world, and I will see you soon.